The wealthiest place on earth is not the gold mines of South Africa or the oil fields of the Middle East. The wealthiest place on earth is the cemetery. Because buried in the ground are businesses that were never started, books that were never written, songs that were never sung, inventions that were never created. And the reason most of that potential died with those people is because they had an excuse. They had a reason why tomorrow was better than today. They had a justification for why next week made more sense than this morning. They convinced themselves that when conditions improved, when they felt more ready, when circumstances aligned perfectly, then they would begin. But the grave does not care about your intentions. It only records what you actually did. And what I want to submit to you is this. The difference between those who die full and those who die empty is not talent. It is not opportunity. It is not even intelligence. The difference is whether they eliminated excuses and established daily disciplines that aligned them with their assignment every single morning without negotiation. You see, most people treat morning like an accident. They stumble into their day reactive, responding to whatever demands scream the loudest, checking messages before they check their mandate, consuming other people's agendas before clarifying their own assignment. And then they wonder why they feel lost. They wonder why they feel like they are drifting. But let me correct something fundamental here. You were not designed to drift. You were manufactured with precision. You came with an assignment embedded in your DNA, and that assignment requires daily recalibration. It requires morning alignment, because every day you wake up, the world is going to offer you 1,000 reasons to abandon your design, 1,000 distractions that look urgent but are not important, 1,000 voices that sound reasonable but lead you away from your true north. And if you do not anchor yourself to your purpose every morning, you will be pulled off course by forces that have no interest in your destiny. Now, I need you to understand something about excuses. An excuse is not a reason. It is a weapon you use against your own future. Every time you say, I do not have time, you are really saying my assignment is not a priority. Every time you say, I am not ready, you are really saying, I am waiting for permission that will never come. Every time you say the conditions are not right, you are really saying, I have more faith in my circumstances than in my design. And the manufacturer of your life did not build delay into your blueprint. He did not create you with a snooze button on your purpose. He activated you the moment you took your first breath. And every morning you wake up is his vote of confidence that today is the day your assignment needs you. Let me submit to you. You do not need motivation. You need revelation. Motivation is emotional. It comes and goes with your feelings, but revelation is foundational. It changes how you see yourself. When you operate from motivation, you need someone to pump you up every day. You need external energy to keep you going. But when you operate from revelation, you are internally driven. You are wired from the inside. You understand that your morning routine is not a suggestion. It is a survival mechanism. It is how you reconnect with who you were before the world told you who you should be. It is how you remember your assignment before responsibilities cloud your vision. It is how you charge your spirit before demands drain your energy. The problem is, most people are living from information instead of revelation. They know what they should do, but they have not internalized why they must do it. They have heard principles, but they have not encountered the manufacturer. And so when the alarm goes off, there is a negotiation. There is a debate. There is a conversation about whether today really matters. But champions do not negotiate with their destiny. They do not debate with their assignment. They understand that morning discipline is the price of daily dominion. And dominion means ruling over your day instead of your day ruling over you. Now let me teach you something about design. Every product that functions correctly does so because it follows the manufacturer's specifications. A car runs properly when you give it the right fuel at the right intervals. A plant grows healthy when you water it according to its needs. A building stands strong when you maintain its foundation. And you function at your highest level when you align yourself with your design every single morning. Your manufacturer built you to start each day reconnected to source. He wired you to need stillness before movement. He designed you to require clarity before activity. And when you skip that, when you bypass the morning alignment, you are operating a precision instrument without calibration. You are driving a vehicle without checking the systems. You are building a structure without inspecting the foundation. And eventually, something breaks. Where purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable. If you do not know why you were made, you will use yourself wrong. You will spend your energy on things that were never your assignment. You will exhaust yourself climbing ladders that are leaning against the wrong walls. You will achieve success in areas that bring no fulfillment because they were never part of your design. And the morning is where you protect yourself from that abuse. The morning is where you remind yourself, this is who I am. This is what I was sent to do. This is the assignment that justifies my existence. This is the contribution that only I can make. And today, I will not be distracted. Today, I will not be derailed. Today, I will not allow urgent things to crowd out important things. Today, I will live from my design, not from other people's demands. Let me give you a principle. Time does not multiply. It only subtracts. Every morning you waste is a morning you will never recover. Every day you delay is a day stolen from your destiny. You cannot get yesterday back. You cannot reclaim last week. You cannot redo last year. All you have is this morning, this moment, this opportunity to align yourself with your assignment and move forward. And the enemy of your purpose is not always opposition. Sometimes it is procrastination dressed up as wisdom. It is delay disguised as patience. It is excuse making that sounds reasonable but produces nothing. Because at the end of your life, nobody's going to ask you about your excuses. They are going to ask you about your execution. They are going to measure what you built, not what you planned to build. They are going to evaluate what you delivered, not what you intended to deliver. And here is what most people do not understand. Morning is a gift, not a guarantee. Every time you open your eyes, you have been granted another opportunity that millions of people did not receive. There are people who went to sleep last night with dreams, with plans, with intentions, who did not wake up this morning. And you did. Which means your assignment is still active. Your purpose is still relevant. Your contribution is still needed. And the respectful response to that gift is not to hit snooze. The respectful response is not to stumble into your day unprepared. The respectful response is to grab that morning, to steward that time, to align yourself intentionally with why you are still breathing. Now, let me show you something about seeds. A farmer does not negotiate with planting season. He does not wake up and decide whether today feels right for sowing. He understands that there is a window, and if he misses that window, the entire harvest is in jeopardy. He cannot plant in winter and expect a summer harvest. He cannot delay spring planting and blame the soil when nothing grows. The ground is ready. The season is set. And his job is to show up every morning during planting season and do the work. No excuses, no delays, no negotiations, because he understands that the harvest is directly connected to morning disciplines during the critical season. And your life operates the same way. You are in your planting season right now. Every morning you wake up, you have an opportunity to plant something that will produce a future harvest. You plant through learning. You plant through building. You plant through creating. You plant through developing. And if you waste your planting season making excuses, guess what happens when harvest season comes? Nothing. Because you cannot harvest what you did not plant. You cannot reap where you did not sow. You cannot withdraw from accounts you did not deposit into. And morning is your planting time. Morning is when the soil of your day is fresh. Morning is when your energy is highest. Morning is when distractions are lowest. Morning is when you set the trajectory for everything that follows. But here is what I have observed. People treat morning like it is neutral, like it does not matter whether they start strong or start scattered. But momentum is established early. Direction is set at the beginning. If you start your day reactive, you will spend the rest of the day catching up. If you start your day distracted, you will struggle to find focus later. If you start your day disconnected from purpose, you will end your day questioning your progress. But if you start your day aligned, if you start your day anchored, if you start your day clear about who you are and what you are here to do, everything that follows has a foundation. Let me teach you another principle. Consistency beats intensity. You do not need to have a perfect morning routine. You need a sustainable morning practice that you actually do every single day without excuse, because most people are looking for the perfect system. They are searching for the ultimate routine. They are waiting to feel inspired before they start. And while they are waiting for perfection, disciplined people are building empires with simple daily habits. You see, a small action repeated daily compounds into massive results. But a grand plan that you execute occasionally produces nothing but frustration. It is better to do something small every morning for a year than to do something spectacular once a month. Because transformation is not about intensity. It is about consistency. It is about showing up when you do not feel like it. It is about honoring the commitment when emotions say quit. It is about doing the mundane, repetitive work that nobody celebrates, but everybody benefits from. And this is where excuses die. Excuses live in the gap between inspiration and discipline. When you are inspired, you do not need excuses. You are energized. You are motivated. You are ready. But inspiration is temporary. It comes and goes. And if you only move when you feel inspired, you will accomplish very little. Because most mornings, you will not feel inspired. Most mornings, you will wake up tired. You will wake up with yesterday's problems still unsolved. You will wake up facing challenges that feel bigger than your capacity. And that is exactly when discipline must override emotion. That is exactly when your morning commitment must be stronger than your morning feelings. That is exactly when you prove whether you are serious about your assignment or just entertained by the idea of it. Now, let me interrupt something. Some of you have been waiting for the right time to start. You have been planning. You have been preparing. You have been getting ready to get ready. But while you have been waiting, time has been moving. While you have been preparing, opportunities have been passing. While you have been planning the perfect start, others with less talent but more discipline have been building what you have been dreaming about. And I need you to hear this. The right time is now. The perfect moment is this morning. The ideal conditions are whatever you are facing today. Because excuses are just fear wearing a respectable mask. Excuses are just doubt that sounds logical. Excuses are just resistance to the discomfort of growth. And if you are going to fulfill your assignment, if you are going to die empty instead of dying full, you must develop the ability to act in spite of fear, to move forward in spite of doubt, to execute in spite of imperfect conditions. Now, let me show you how to listen every morning and eliminate excuses. First, you establish non-negotiable wake-up time, not a time that depends on how you feel, not a time that shifts based on circumstances, a locked-in time that you honor like an appointment with your destiny, because it is. Every morning is a meeting with your manufacturer. Every morning is a briefing about your assignment, and you do not show up late to meetings that matter. Second, you create a morning sequence that reconnects you to purpose before you engage with demands. This means silence before noise. This means reflection before reaction. This means clarity about your assignment before you respond to other people's agendas. You might spend time in stillness. You might review your vision. You might declare your intentions for the day. You might study principles that sharpen your understanding. But whatever you do, it must realign you with why you exist before the world tries to tell you who you should be. Third, you document your commitment. You write down what you are building. You record what you are becoming. You track what you are learning, because what gets measured gets managed. And if you do not track your progress, you will underestimate your growth. You will forget how far you have come. You will be discouraged by how far you have to go. But when you document, you create evidence. You build proof that your morning disciplines are producing results. You generate momentum that carries you through difficult seasons. Fourth, you eliminate decision fatigue. You decide tonight what tomorrow morning looks like. You remove the negotiation. You eliminate the debate. You make your morning routine so automatic that it requires zero willpower. Because willpower is a limited resource. And if you use it all up deciding whether to honor your morning commitment, you will have nothing left for the actual work of your assignment. Fifth, you protect your morning from interruptions. You turn off notifications. You silence distractions. You guard your alignment time like it is oxygen, because it is. Your morning practice is how you breathe spiritually. It is how you oxygenate your purpose. It is how you stay alive to your assignment. And just like you would not let someone interrupt your breathing, you do not let anyone interrupt your morning routine. Not family, not friends, not emergencies that are not really emergencies. Your morning is sacred time. It is protected time. It is non-negotiable time. Because everything else you do that day depends on the foundation you build in those morning moments. Sixth, you find an accountability structure. You connect with someone who is also committed to morning disciplines. You create a system where someone checks on you. You build consequences for breaking your commitment. Because most people fail, not because they lack desire. They fail because they have no accountability. They fail because nobody is watching. They fail because there is no cost to quitting. But when you build accountability into your morning practice, You create external pressure that reinforces internal commitment. You create a structure that supports you when motivation is low. You create a system that carries you through seasons when you do not feel like showing up. Seventh, you review and adjust. Every week, you evaluate whether your morning routine is producing the results you need. You ask yourself, am I more clear about my assignment? Am I more focused during my day? Am I making progress toward my vision? And if the answer is no, you adjust, you refine, you improve. Because your morning practice is not a rigid formula. It is a living system that evolves as you grow. What worked last year might not work this year. What served you last season might need to change this season. And that is okay. As long as you are intentional, as long as you are evaluating, as long as you are committed to the principle of morning alignment, even if the practice shifts. Now, hear me clearly. Some of you are one morning discipline away from breakthrough. You are one consistent routine away from clarity. You are 1 month of showing up away from transformation. But you have convinced yourself that your situation is different. You have told yourself that your circumstances are unique. You have believed the lie that what works for others will not work for you. And that is the final excuse that must die. Because principles are universal. Laws are not selective. Gravity does not work for some people and not for others. Seed time and harvest is not a privilege for the lucky few. And morning disciplines that produce dominion work for everyone who applies them. Not because of who you are, but because of how you were designed. You were manufactured to need daily realignment. You were built to require morning calibration. You were created to function best when you start each day connected to source and clear about assignment. And I am going to tell you something that might sound harsh, but it is true. Your excuses are more expensive than your discipline. The cost of not starting is higher than the cost of starting imperfectly. The price of delay is greater than the price of discomfort. Because every morning you waste is potential you will never recover. Every day you procrastinate is progress you cannot reclaim. Every week you spend making excuses is a week someone else is using to build what you are dreaming about. And at some point, you have to decide, am I going to be the person who dies full of unrealized potential? Or am I going to be the person who dies empty because I gave everything I had to my assignment? Am I going to look back with regret over what I could have been? Or am I going to look back with satisfaction over what I actually became? Am I going to make excuses? Or am I going to make progress? Because let me submit to you this final truth. You were not born to be average. You were not created to blend in. You were not designed to waste your mornings and wonder why your life feels empty. You were manufactured with precision. You were loaded with potential. You were embedded with gifts. You were assigned specific problems to solve. You were given unique contributions to make. And all of that power, all of that purpose, all of that potential is dormant until you activate it through daily disciplines that align you with your design. Your morning routine is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It is not optional. It is essential. It is not something you do when you feel like it. It is something you do because your assignment demands it, because your destiny requires it, because your future depends on it. And right now, in this moment, you have a choice. You can continue living like morning does not matter. You can keep making excuses about why you cannot start. You can keep waiting for perfect conditions that will never come. Or you can decide. You can commit. You can start tomorrow morning, not with a complicated system, not with an overwhelming plan. Just start. Set your alarm. Wake up on time. Spend even 15 minutes in silence. Reconnect with your purpose. Remind yourself who you are. Declare what you are building. And then do it again the next day. And then do it again the day after that. And watch what happens when you eliminate excuses and establish consistency. Watch how clarity comes. Watch how focus sharpens. Watch how opportunities appear. Watch how your life begins to align with your design. Because the grave is waiting. It is waiting for everyone. And it is going to ask you one question. Did you use what you were given? Did you fulfill what you were assigned? Did you empty yourself completely? Or did you die full of excuses, full of intentions, full of plans that you never executed? And the only way to answer that question correctly is to start today, this morning, tomorrow morning, every morning. No excuses, no delays, no negotiations, just commitment, just discipline, just daily alignment with the assignment that justifies your existence. Be original, not a copy. Die empty, not full. The time is now. The season is set. Your assignment is active. And your morning discipline is the key that unlocks everything you were created to become. So listen every morning. Eliminate every excuse and watch your manufacturer's design for your life become your daily reality.